Welcome back to my Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle no damage run. Boy, that's a mouthful to say. This time we're taking on the fourth and final world of the game. You know the drill by now though. Before actually setting foot in the newly unlocked world, I've got newly unlocked weapons to buy and power orbs to obtain, with my team being stronger after clearing World 3. I can acquire even more power orbs by beating the secret chapters entirely now. The Rabid plant gets taken out with Luigi's hero sight alone. If only the first encounter with them were that easy. Blizzy and Sandy don't look as easy at first glance, since you can't get close enough to shoot them, but by moving close enough to have hero sight activate while being out of Blizzy's range, you can force him to move for another insightful victory. Even getting to the third secret chapter's mid-boss is tough thanks to the preceding combat being on a small enough map where you can't just stay back and send forward sentries like I usually do, but big enough where 3 peekaboos are spread out enough where I can't kill them all without the 7 spooky smashers getting some revenge hits. After an hour, I found what might be the only way to beat this damageless. Rabbid Yoshi has to take the pipe on the right and dash into 4 enemies along the way, one of them being a peekaboo to guarantee the kill with his attack. Mario stomps on a spooky smasher while positioning for his hammer to take all but one of the 3 enemies out. The smasher running at him gets countered by hero sight. Luigi takes the left pipe and sends his sentry to blow up on a smasher and peekaboo, killing both after the smasher moves. Mario's second shot bounces a smasher close to him, which stops him from getting hit as Luigi protects himself with ink, and Rabbid Yoshi shields the attack of the smasher in range. This sets up the team to easily finish the remaining enemies. I didn't go over the numerous ways things could go wrong, but just know that with a slight change in strategy, someone will get hit. The Cavalera rematch is a little tough at first, since there are only a couple of safe spots that change between turns. But once only the mid-boss remains, you can easily take advantage of its terrible range. With this secret chapter beat, I believe I have all orbs from the first 3 worlds, except from the challenge missions after the first 5 I did before. I can always go back later if I need them though, so for now, let's jump into World 4 for real. The first combat is an easy one where I stay back and finish the enemy safely. The second one introduces a mechanic to counter this strategy though, and it'll show up many times in this world. At the end of my turn, meteors will land on random tiles, burning and damaging friend or foe. The meteors can only land on designated areas, but avoiding these places, if possible, is best. This complicates this map since it's already small to begin with and has high ground connecting both sides, making safe areas few and far between. After a bunch of unsuccessful attempts, it was clear that I had to play as aggressively as possible while still being safe. On the first turn, I send Mario forward after he uses M-Power to hammer a lava hopper for the kill. Luigi uses his sentry to take out 2 lava hoppers. Rabbid Yoshi moves up last to take out the final remaining foe after a dash. Every ally is on a spot where meteors can never fall, so they're all safe. The problem is that the 2 enemies that spawn from the ground move on their first turn. Eventually, I find that sending Mario and Luigi back to the side we started on while keeping Rabbid Yoshi in a spot where he can't get hit by the meteors while still being inside of the hoppers allows his shield to block the 2 incoming attacks while hero sight does some damage. That same hopper is easily taken out by Mario since the other 2 are closer to the full health Rabbid with its own shield. They can both take the closer pipe to him up and end the turn in a safe area. Finally, I send everyone back to the start for the 3 Rabbids spawning in one turn. That sounds bad, but I only need to take 1 out and Luigi's hero sight is enough, winning the combat. The next combat is an easy one where I can take out the ranged enemies before the melee ones who can't do much to me without me attacking them first since pipes are nearby to outdistance them. After that is another tough one. This time it's a reach area mission with a faraway goal, tons of enemies constantly spawning in, and meteors. The first group of enemies can easily be dealt with as the team moves forward in safe positions. The second group of enemies are tougher, as if I wait too long for my sentries and abilities to recharge, they will team jump on my side and damage me. Just save both hero sites for the turn they go above ground, and on the following turn send sentries forward to soak some hits and take out their shared target on your next turn. This leaves the Valkyrie defenseless to be taken out, but we can't move up just yet. Some more enemies spawn, though not infinitely, so I can just keep stalling while some enemies from the bottom group move up the pipe to be taken out too. Once Rabid Peach's sentry is recharged, I can finally move forward to take out the Lava Ziggy with Fill in Sight, and Luigi can take the other one out. Next turn, Luigi can move up to the pipe to reach the goal, even though I played this one more like a defeat all combat. The following combat has 2 lava hoppers and a bunch of lava smashers that are more difficult to navigate against than before, thanks to the map having small spaces connected through various pipes. The priority is to take out the hoppers first, since they're less exploitable than the smashers, so I move up and use my sentries on them. Then it's a matter of finding which spots are far enough away from the smashers already on the map and the ones that constantly spawn in. By using Luigi's M-Power boosted hero sight, he takes out a smasher after his third shot, which leaves one at the bottom of the map. That's great because that's where I need to go to get away from the spawning smashers. I can focus all of my attacks on him so my team can safely stay down there. From there, I can take out one smasher at a time for the victory. Then there's a defeat all combat with 2 separate paths and meteors, meaning splitting the team up will be the way to go here. The meteors land at very important areas for my team, which makes positioning a bit awkward and risky, but still manageable. I start the fight with M-Power before splitting up the team. Luigi goes right and sets up a hero sight before firing at a smasher to take it out with 1 out of 3 shots. Luigi took the rightmost safe position so that Rabid Peach's sentry can travel further and up the pipe to take out a lava supporter. Mario moves left and attacks a smasher, getting a bounce, so Luigi didn't use another shot until the 2 Ziggies moved to take both of them out. The Valkyrie has a 50% chance to hit Rabid Peach, but she avoids it. Now Mario can take out the smasher and Luigi sends his sentry forward towards the Valkyrie before ending my turn. I keep damaging the opponents while in range, but they eventually move too far away, so Luigi moves up the pipe to get back in range, with Rabid Peach quickly following to do more damage than the last supporter can heal. And now for a real tough one. This defeat all combat is on a medium-sized map with 4 spread out peekaboos, a supporter, and a smasher. Peekaboos and supporters are the real threats here, as the supporter's grenade damages behind cover, and peekaboos on an open map doesn't really need an explanation. Although, the smasher is in a really bad spot for me, so it'll still be impactful. Luigi team jumping down with an M-Power boosted sentry allows him to kill a peekaboo and supporter right away as long as the sentry is targeted at the furthest away peekaboo and he gets a critical hit. Hero Sight and Mario's shot can take out the smasher. Now it's a matter of if I can find a safe place for the rest of my team. No surprise here, but it was time to use Rabbid Yoshi once again. The shield blocks super effect damage, but not the super effect itself, so if he gets hit by a push effect, he falls off the map and takes 30 damage. I hide him in a way that Luigi has to dodge a 50% hit from one peekaboo, Rabbid Yoshi soaks the other 2, and the last supporter dies to Luigi's remaining hero sight shots. This also sets up the enemies to lose next turn as long as Mario and Luigi get critical strikes. Rabbid Yoshi's doesn't matter since he can just scream really loud. The team isn't done being surrounded just yet. They've got another defeat all combat, this time with pipes to the left and right and enemies in front of them. This one can be a guaranteed win if the team uses the left pipe and Luigi uses his sentry on the two bucklers, and if it's not a critical hit, Rabbid Yoshi can finish them with his grenade. The closest buckler can be taken out with Mario since he put up M-Power at the start of the turn and everyone dashed into him for chip damage. Rabbid Yoshi jumped forward to bait enemies with his shield, and Luigi's hero sight takes out the last buckler, and if it doesn't crit for the 2-shot kill, he'll also hit the supporter who will otherwise hit the shield. From there, I like to move Mario up with hero sight and scream. Get used to that combat because you're going to have to do it all over again each time you attempt fighting the mid-boss, Mecha Jr. His fight is on the same map, so the team is still under constant pressure from all sides since he's also got Valkyries with him. Mecha Jr. moves towards players who attack him and will instantly hit them if he gets close enough. He'll move even more if hit by multiple hero sight shots, so finding the perfect way to bait him will be necessary. This is made worse with his Magnet Dance to make his range larger. He also places sentries of his own, but will stop moving if he runs into them himself, which definitely comes in handy here. Rabbid Yoshi can soak the hit from damaging the mid-boss on my turn, followed by the one on his turn, but burning still makes him move, which sets him up to get hit by a Valkyrie, so it's pretty risky for no real payoff. I'd much rather take advantage of the quirk where he stops moving if he hits his own sentry. I move Mario and Luigi to the back with both hero sights up before shooting with Luigi. By the time Mecha Jr.'s been hit by every shot and his sentry, he's at 1,299 health. The turn's not over yet as I move Rabbid Yoshi through the rightmost pipe and shoot as I put up his shield. This makes it so no matter how he runs with the burn super effect, he won't take damage to the Valkyrie's attack. On the next turn, Mario and Luigi take the pipe on the left, and Luigi uses his range to shoot the Valkyrie, which sets up Rabbid Yoshi to finish it off after taking the pipe back to the start. This makes it so all Mecha Jr. can do on his turn is move forward and deploy a sentry, which like before can be exploited by attacking with Luigi, and then Rabbid Yoshi to damage and stop him in his tracks next to a shielded Rabbid Yoshi. With all hero sights back up after Mecha Jr.'s useless attack, I can easily finish the fight, and Spawny and Yoshi join the team. Yoshi, unfortunately, is unlocked too late in the game to be useful. Getting guaranteed super effects once they already have a 60% chance to happen isn't great, at least for this playthrough. Spawny straight up sucks though since the team has to escort him in the next mission. This map is so small that there aren't many good places to hide the 4 team members, and playing passively is even less of an option since enemies spawn at the start of the map after a few turns, so yeah. This sucks. Eventually, I find the best way to start the combat is to use Luigi's fully upgraded Itchy Feet ability and have everyone move up with team jumps while Spawny stays behind a full block. Sentries from here aren't great since they get destroyed in one turn with all the enemy attacks, but at least it keeps the team safe for a turn. Moving someone up to the furthest block will get them hit, but if I wait until the next turn and focus all my attacks there, I can start defeating some enemies with varying results due to the 50% cover. Even missing the hit on the enemy to destroy the cover is potentially the solution since it shortens the path Spawny needs to take to the goal. If I send Luigi's sentry from further away, it has to take a bad path since it hides behind blocks, causing enemies to focus our heroes instead. But if it targeted the other Rabbid, it would be close enough for Valkyries to land near it, and the team damaging both. But if I get lucky with Mario's bounces, I can move up. Only problem now is that 2 enemy Valkyries will spawn, which can team jump and deal damage near where they land, so they're a big threat. Especially when 2 more Rabbids spawn on the following turn again at the start. Spawny was way too far away from the goal on this attempt by the time he got hit. The sentry can survive if enemies don't get any critical hits and low damage rolls, which obviously can help. This time I don't miss and hit the cover, which proves to be a detriment here, as it ends in the team getting hit by a Valkyrie landing and would take spawny time we don't have to move around the long way. I get spawny further this time, but still need to find the optimal spots for everyone else so they don't get hit by the Valkyries in the back while taking out enemies near the goal. I briefly considered working Rabbids Yoshi into the team, I know, what a shocker, but he loses shield charges to the Valkyrie jumps, and losing a sentry probably would immediately lose me the fight too. After a couple hours, I had this attempt. I start the fight with Mario's M power and Luigi's itchy feet. I move Mario as far as he can go while hiding behind the block on the left, which lets him attack a nearby peekaboo. Move Spawny up like usual, and Luigi team jumps to the second closest block to the enemies, so his sentry's in the right spot to soak hits, and jump Rabbid Peach to the block behind him while skipping her action. Luigi's sentry range will hit all enemies if it survives, which in this case it does. That also means that a 50% cover was destroyed without needing an extra shot. Luigi takes out the peekaboo while everyone except Spawny and Mario move backwards to safety. This makes the Valkyries come to me while the team is out of range of their attacks and ground pound. It might seem weird that I'm playing passively here since I've been stressing how important being fast is, but keep in mind that my team is only as fast as Spawny since the battle only ends when he reaches the goal, and he did move up. Well, that and the enemies that spawn at the start don't do that until enemies die. Hey, I'm learning this stuff as I go, okay? I kill the last 2 remaining enemies in a way where the sentry targeting it stays in sight of the soon to spawn enemies once the target is gone, so the sentry stands still. Mario also has Hero Sight up, which thankfully bounces the first Valkyrie, so the second wastes its attack destroying the sentry. Since I used Itchy Feet last turn to move Spawny closer to the goal, he can reach it next turn, beating the combat. That was awful, but at least it's over. Okay, this one isn't nearly as bad, still bad, but not as much. To beat it, I send Rabbids Yoshi up the pipe to grenade the group of enemies and finish them off with Mario's hammer. Luigi attempts a 50% shot and Spawny moves as far as he can. Both hero sights take out one hopper and heavily damage another. Since Ink didn't activate, Mario needs to dodge 2 50% hits, which he does this time. Luigi double team jumps and lands next to Mario so he can share the M power, and Mario can team jump to the other side to take out a hopper while Luigi's sentry does the same. This rids the map of all enemies, but one will always spawn at the start of the following turn, so Rabbids Yoshi distracts it with his shield. Next turn, Itchy Feet gives Spawny enough movement range to make it to the goal. Next up is a stage where I have to be mindful of enemies on high ground and low ground simultaneously. If the bucklers and smashers get to the pipe, they'll hit my team. I can't move them far enough out of their pipe movement range without getting in range of a peekaboo. At first, I use Luigi's sentry to take out the other peekaboo, but doing so destroys the cover I need and adds a lot of unnecessary RNG to the fight. Instead, I settle on dashing into the Valkyrie at the start with Rabbids Yoshi, jumping off the Valkyrie with Mario, it fully upgraded for 150 damage, dashing and double jump off Rabbids Yoshi and Mario for Luigi. This puts Mario and Luigi in position to kill both peekaboos. Rabbids Yoshi needs to get a decent damage roll, but 230 to 451 damage with a 60% chance for a higher damage critical hit will almost always result in 280 damage or better. The enemies from the bottom move up without triggering Luigi's hero sight, since I intentionally left him somewhere Luigi could only see the Valkyrie since it would have otherwise damaged my team. Now, the top of the map is rid of enemies, but it won't stay that way if I play passively, so Rabbids Yoshi throws his grenade, and Luigi uses his sentry, which thanks to a critical ink, leaves them low enough for RY to dash to all of them, which makes the shield protect him from the last buckler. Empower with Luigi's attack and recharge Hero Sight easily finishes the battle from here. I'm going to give you all a break from the play-by-play for this one since it's so easy with sentry range. The boys Wario and Waluigi are a different story, however. The first thing I tried was using both sentries, one on the left pipe and one on the right. This would only damage the Valkyries, with the Smashers being just out of range. Hero Sight would take care of the remaining enemies on the left and leave Luigi vulnerable to a 50% shot, and the right side would have a Smasher close in on Rabbid Peach. This is a problem since Wario sets up Villain Sight to stop Luigi and Peach from repositioning. The only way to stop it is with a critical effect of my own, which is only a 30% chance, though I do have 2 rolls. Or so I thought, as Villain Sight is unaffected by ink apparently. I realized there was no need to send Luigi up, as the sentry is in range of the Valkyrie thanks to its large explosion radius, so he can stay back. Wario will always destroy the full cover on his next hit before setting up Villain Sight, so this still isn't safe. And when cover is an issue, Rabbid Yoshi is usually the solution. After Empower, Rabbid Yoshi moves up to the same spot I tried with Rabbid Peach and throws his grenade at the Valkyrie before shielding. Luigi sets up Hero Sight in case of a bounce on the same target that ends up missing. Luigi swiftly makes up for it with a critical to take one enemy out. 2 Hero Sight attacks take out the Smasher on the left, and the last one inks the Valkyrie, which makes the shield unnecessary. I didn't have to save it for my next turn since Villain Sight can be dealt with by using Luigi's sentry that I saved for this situation. The detonation ends up inking Wario, which is great for his next turn. Rabbid Yoshi's attack and Mario's Hero Sight take out the Smasher on the right. Mario misses his shot and Rabbid Yoshi repositions. This makes it so the 50% cover only lasting for 1 attack gets me through the round, as Waluigi is also too far to use Magnet Dance. I can now send Rabbid Yoshi up to Waluigi, which allows Mario to jump off him and Wario so his hammer can take the 2 nearby enemies out. Luigi can finish Waluigi with Hero Sight and his normal attack since he moves like a Smasher when hit. This finishes the combat, but it's not the last of the iconic duo that we'll see. The next combat is the easiest one so far. If you properly aim Luigi's sentry, it can take out most enemies on the right with Empower. If you don't get a critical hit, you need to attack the Smasher or dash into it an extra time. Otherwise, dash into him with Rabbid Peach and move in front of the Ziggy for a quick and easy victory. Directly after, on the same map that retains damage done to blocks, is a much harder combat that I honestly couldn't find a 100% consistent way to deal with, but found as consistent of a strategy as I could, which sucks since getting hit here or the next combat means I have to start over at the one before this. The first RNG obstacle is whether or not Luigi's sentry gets a crit on the 2 bucklers. At first, I would just lose if I didn't get it, but I tried changing my strategy in a way that wouldn't immediately end an attempt. I would set up an Empower and fully upgrade Itchy Feet. This would leave one buckler around 35 health and the other around 95. Luigi's dash was upgraded to 40 damage, so it would do just enough to take one buckler out, and Luigi keeps moving up the pipe and behind the full cover. Mario only needs to follow Luigi up the pipe, and Rabbid Peach, like usual, has her dash and movement fully upgraded, since upgrading her healing and shield are both useless in this run. This lets her dash into the low health buckler and one at full health while she moves behind full cover. This spot is great because if you aim her sentry at the hopper in the back, it will stop before hitting anyone. On the enemy's turn, a Smasher will run into it, which will cause it to move forward even more, and stop right in front of full cover, which will result in it getting damaged by a buckler attacking his own teammate. On the next turn, I use both Hero Sights, but this is where this strategy falls apart. The hopper with the shield was in range to get hit, but out of sight to get hit by Hero Sight while in the air, meaning it could usually destroy cover to leave my team vulnerable for a follow-up attack. So it was back to hoping for the 60% chance at the start, which wasn't too bad since the fight prior to this one is so quick, but I spent so long trying to make this consistent. With the ink critical hit boosted by Empower, one buckler is taken out and the other is left with 20 health, so Luigi's dash doesn't need an upgrade and he can take out the second one himself too. Mario attempts a 50% hit on Hopper and gets it. Rabbid Peach no longer has the movement range to dash attack, so she just uses her sentry and moves behind full cover while Mario stays behind his. Luigi's hero sight is really good here as it takes out his Ziggy in one hit and a supporter in the last two. The hoppers move around the map to the right side as they try to destroy the sentry, which again explodes after the smasher walks into it. He's now low enough for Luigi to kill, and Rabbid Peach dashes into the buckler and moves into position for Mario to team jump from and behind the full cover that didn't get fully destroyed. This is where the RNG gets kind of sad, and is the reason why I was trying to find a consistent strategy. Mario gets a bounce on the buckler and then sets up Hero Sight. He gets 2 bounces with it, the first target only being taken out since it was hit by his 50% shot earlier. Although I don't think the second bounce was necessary, so maybe this isn't as lucky as it felt. The last hopper destroys the upper cover, but no one else can attack, so I'm safe. Mario takes out the supporter and 2 shots take out the hopper, leaving just one remaining buckler who falls for the oldest trick in the book. The third and final consecutive fight consists of Wario, Waluigi, Lava Queen, a supporter, hopper, and buckler. The small map size really hurts here and means dealing with the nearby buckler on the first turn is necessary. I tried Rabbid Yoshi as usual, but couldn't justify picking him over Rabbid Peach. Same goes for the second out of the 3 fights since you can swap your team in between battles. With Empower, Rabbid Peach's dash and 60% critical hit take out the buckler. One of Luigi's hero shots take out a Ziggy, while the last 2 take out a supporter. The sentry Luigi used on the last turn absorbs Wario's attack and then a hopper's. Waluigi's Magnet Dance caused the sentry to get hit by Villain Sight and explode from damage close enough to hurt Waluigi. That was a valuable sentry if I've ever seen one, and I've seen a lot during this playthrough. The Lava Queen is too far away to do anything, so she just passes. Mario can jump from one high ground to another and attacks Waluigi with Hero Sight to finish him. Rabbid Peach sends her sentry forward and Luigi gets a bit of damage on Wario, only for the hopper to run back to Peach's side and hit through 50% cover, which I was not expecting. I eventually switched to Luigi on the upper right and Mario behind the starting block, which changes the enemy turn order. This time after the Ziggy moves, the hopper does, which is better since I don't have to worry about that shield anymore. Mario is close enough to just take the pipe up, although without critical hits he uses up all Hero Sight shots. With Itchy Feet's movement, Rabbid Peach can dash into the supporter before running up the pipe to safety this time. The remaining foes move up and all attack the sentry to no avail as it just barely lives and explodes on Wario and the Lava Queen. Luigi moves close enough to get another Empower, which allows his sentry to greatly damage the same enemies as before and take out the Lava Queen with my remaining attacks. That leaves 2 opponents at low enough health to die to Luigi's Hero Sight, beating the 3 combats in a row, which took a long time since something going wrong with the second or third fight meant restarting from the first one, but I can finally move on. That just leaves another 3-phase fight. This time in the form of the final boss, Mega Dragon Bowser. The first phase starts very strong, with the team having to deal 1,600 damage to Bowser to advance. But even if I do, the 4 Valkyries remain unless I take them out too. Sentries sitting in an area is great since I do have to take them all out before proceeding. But before that, Bowser's attack has him fly towards the team, and without being taken out by Hero Sight, he'll attack, so that's a big problem. I need to either take him out before this attack or with Hero Sight while still dealing with the Valkyries, it seems, as focusing just Bowser results in him moving to the next phase without him attacking, though fire will always rain during this transition and at the end of his every turn in the exact same spots every time, which further limits what I can do. By getting a critical hit with a sentry that hits Bowser and the two middle Valkyries, my dashes and remaining attacks can take out all but one Valkyrie and still leave Bowser at a decent chunk of health even with all critical hits. It was time to pull out Old Reliable again. Rabbid Yoshi's shield is not his only reason for being used for once, as his dash attack hitting all 4 Valkyries is very useful, especially when paired with his grenade's large radius and chance to inflict stone. This lets me get rid of or shield against every Valkyrie except the non-threatening one turned to stone, which meant all I have to do is shield Bowser's attack. And of course it's not going to be that easy. Mega Dragon Bowser will sometimes act smarter than most AI and ignore a shielded target right in front of him. But let's be honest, that was a Mega Dragon, so the coin flip for Bowser's Monkey Brain will result in a favorable outcome where I can progress about half the time. More bad news though. Bowser always sets up Villain Sight at the end of his turn, so if I need to reposition anyone, namely Rabbid Yoshi, who just moved into a spot where a meteor will land due to the burn, then the attempt is over. There's also a very real possibility that the leftmost Valkyrie dodges attacks sent her way, which leaves her at enough health to be a nuisance with their protection and health that requires focus, while new enemies that need my attention spawn. After over an hour of attempts and never getting a turn into phase 2 with how much can go wrong since multiple critical hits are required on top of what I already said, I wanted to try a new strategy. Rabid Mario also has stone effects, specifically the one I'm looking at is his hammer. Pair this with Magnet Dance to lure enemies toward him for more value in one attack, and it does a lot of damage to Bowser. It also puts more enemies in range of Luigi's sentry without hurting him. Before all that, Rabid Mario dashes into 3 enemies for 100 damage each, which is another reason he's great here. He does need a critical hit on the hammer for stone in order for his strategy to work. You also have to make sure you're not standing in range of a meteor, but that's not too much of an issue since Rabid Mario brings the enemies to him. With this strategy, I finally safely made it into the second phase, which turns Bowser's attack into the meteors every turn, meaning the real threat here are the 4 bucklers that spawn, though I still have to be mindful of where I end my turn. I do want to make sure they're all dead by the time the third phase starts so I'm not overwhelmed by the number of enemies on the map. Mario empowers, and I misplay by putting Hero Sight up after Magnet Dance, but I get a lucky stone critical hit so it doesn't end up mattering. With it, Mario and Luigi can take out the buckler that can still attack, which means the rest of this phase is easy. The last one has Bowser become immune during my turn, which only breaks if he collides against a cement block. After doing so, he'll be stunned for a turn so I can get some damage in. Again, the real issues come from the enemies that spawn, but this time it's smashers who have a short range and are easily manipulated like usual. On the first stun, Mario empowers and hammers Bowser for a good chunk of damage, while Rabid Mario and Luigi dash into smashers and finish 2 off with the sentry and Hero Sight that doesn't do anything against Bowser in this phase. Before ending my turn, Rabid Mario gets in a low damage, long range shot, leaving Bowser at 925 health. On the next stun, Rabid Mario hammers Bowser while Mario and Luigi deal with the last 2 smashers, leaving Bowser at only 463 health, meaning one last stun is enough to take him out and officially beat Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle without taking damage. Or well, mostly. That just leaves 6 times in total throughout the entire game where I took damage. 2 times to Rabid Plant, 3 to Rabid Kong's stupid cutscene attack, and 1 time to Icicle Golem. Or does it? You see, I knew since after uploading part 2 that there was potential for beating Rabbids Plant damageless, thanks to a quirk in the AI where he doesn't attack characters behind pipes for some reason. Am I the only one who missed that? Seriously, did I skip some dialogue or something? Because multiple people informed me of this thing that I had no idea about in the comments. Thanks for that, by the way. I was planning on going back to this fight for the finale, but it turns out I don't have to. Special thanks and shout out to commenter Gnormal for attempting this strategy himself, telling me what exactly needed to be done to beat the fight damageless, and even going as far as doing the fight again when I asked if he had footage just to record it. Which is crazy since there's so much RNG in this fight. After doing that, and definitely in no part due to my laziness, I'll be showing his footage instead of my own with his permission. If you want to see part of the fight or the whole fight, make sure to check out the video that I'll link in the description. He's planning on making more challenge videos, so subscribe to him too if you're interested. His strategy was to keep Mario on low ground after team jumping off Rabbid Peach, then send Rabbid Peach and Rabbid Luigi, wow I haven't seen that name in a while, up to the two Ziggies. Both of their shots have to hit through 50% cover and get a critical hit, which are two 15% chances you have to hit. On the opponent's turn, Rabbids Plant will attempt to move over to and hit Mario, but Mario's 10% bounce knocks Rabbids Plant out of range of Mario, and with the other team members behind pipes, there's no one else for the mid-boss to hit, so he ends his turn. Now, Mario can hide behind a pipe too, and Rabbid Peach and Rabbid Luigi can hit Rabbids Plant whenever he's in range without having to move from safe cover. Poor guy just keeps running back and forth, not able to do anything except run in and out of range of the team that never moves, which eventually leads to a no damage victory, bringing the hit total down from 6 to 4. That wasn't the only fight Gnormal optimized though. Icicle Golem's problem was that his fight forced Luigi off the team and forced Peach to join, which meant I lose a sentry and get a character with no accessible skill tree. I couldn't find a way to make Rabbid Peach's one sentry soak 2 hits of damage before exploding, but Gnormal could. He moves Peach behind 50% cover and Mario behind a block so he's out of sight of the boss before moving. Then, Rabbid Peach team jumps off Mario into a safe spot by the pipe, which also happens to be the best spot to launch a sentry. By using it here, the boss attacks it before moving, and once he moves, he's now further away, which makes it so the sentry doesn't explode by getting close enough to the Icicle Golem, allowing it to tank one more hit. This lets the team safely get through the first phase unharmed, which I couldn't do when I tried. The rest of the fight is pretty much the same with a few more optimizations, and Gnormal eventually finished the fight without taking any damage. This was really cool to see. Like I said, I was planning on coming back to the Rabbids Plant fight with tips from the comments to guide me, but I wasn't even thinking of going back to this one, so seriously, thank you Gnormal for proving me wrong and showing me how it's done. This takes the total hit counter down from 4 to 3, with all 3 being from the cutscene before the Rabbid Kong fight. Thanks for watching. This may have been the last world of the main game, but we're taking this challenge into the DLC. I can't wait to have DK on my team so I can laugh every time he gets hit. How do you like it?